Hey everybody, welcome to another feel-good episode of State of the Market, February 2022, and February 2021 was quite the month, as I recall.
Crazy month.
Yeah, so we do have something to compare, this year to last year. So it's a little bit different this year, I would say. A lot more, obviously everything, the broader market has done pretty well compared to last year. But I would say the higher end card, or not the higher end cards, but the players that jumped off early have kind of maybe slowed down a bit where other people are catching up. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, there's been a little bit of regression down. I mean, and you mostly notice it on, I think, trying to dial back a year ago in my brain. That's a tough ask, Bill. You start off
That
with
was all like
something.
the Jordans,
Yeah,
and we
the
saw
Messies.
yeah, the Messis were going crazy.
Yeah, like the 65 PSA 10 was going for like 65,000, right?
Yeah.
So we had some significant bumps in some. I think isn't that when we got like, did we get the Zidane sticker at like
I want to say
70?
that was in that same,
Yeah, it's
same
close to
time frame.
70K, I think, if I wasn't wrong.
Mm.
Maybe 60. Anyway, yeah, like you say, I think that was the right way to put it. Some of the things that took off early regressed down, and a lot of stuff that the broader segment increased significantly since then.
Yeah, so it was kind of interesting. We saw some, we saw cards that probably would have never got the bids last year that really started to get them this year. And so it's kind of interesting in that regard. And obviously the elite cards will do well typically. But so we had, since we did our last show, we had the Golden Elite ended, 2 days of that. Then we also had the PWCC premiere that just ended last weekend. And then we also had the 4 weeklies. But I tried to sort, and none of them showed the sales. So like I'm just gonna kind of ignore the weeklies, unless somebody at some point can tell me how to find that easily.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the things with the changing PWC where it's harder to track what you're looking at, bid on what you're looking at.
Yeah,
and I think it's net a bad, except for attention getting cards like the yellow Eusebio Panini,
right.
where people are going to come back and they're going to really pay attention to it. If it's kind of run of the mill, some stuff's getting lost out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just and everything's intermingled week to week, and so all of that. But just for even me to search on the website to find the completeds, like I can't. It's when I do find the completeds, then it doesn't show the sale price. So I'm just not really sure. We can talk too much about that, but so I was thinking like, and then Golden, for some reason, I can't have 2 tabs up and search 2 different auctions.
Yeah.
So like when I go to search on the second tab, it changes the first tab. Like, so it's kind of
so it's weird that in a world where we should be getting, where information getting should be getting easier, for whatever reason we're in this bubble where it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. Like it's hard for me even when I'm bidding on Golden to see what I'm winning and what I'm losing.
Yeah.
So I think that we're in this unfortunate bubble of hard. It's just hard to follow information, which is a problem for us as we do the state of the market, like because we're like based on, oh, didn't this go for this? I think the Platini went for $4,000. Oh, that was a 5, or was it the 6? Shit, I don't know. I got to try to find it, right?
Right. So that's the challenge for us. So I mean, I'm gonna have it set up. So I'm thinking maybe what we'll do is we'll do the Golden Elite first, then we'll go to the PWCC Premier, and then in the meantime, I can do the search for the Golden second day auctions, the Elite
While
Two.
doing the PWCC. Okay, yeah, that makes
So
sense.
we'll kind of bounce back and forth just so there's less delay between the the dead air. We don't need that. So anyway, I guess we'll just pop into the Golden Elite, which was a doozy of an auction. There was a pretty big card there that similar to something you just had recently acquired. I believe it was
It was a guy. He started what in 1958, I think. What was his name?
I can't, Edson or something.
Yeah, that was right. Yeah, some long do nacimiento something.
Something of that nature.
Yeah,
And of
I think
course now
that's
I
what it
can't
was.
find the tab.
Yeah, let me see. Maybe I got something laying around here.
Yeah,
Oh no, that one's at the bank.
that's good to hear. So did the screen pop up?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. So we end up having a 1957 Balas Pele. Same setup as yours, right? The blue background, the 2 points.
Yeah, so I'll take just 1 minute to describe, because this is an
Sure.
iconic sticker for the hobby. We've known about this sticker for a long time. It never really been graded, obviously, until the last couple months. There are multiple versions of this. Anyone that has a blue background also will have that yellow dot. Maybe if you click on the sticker, it has this yellow dot, and this particular one says 2 points on it.
The
There's
yellow dot up here.
no, not that one. I mean the yellow square.
Oh, yellow square. Okay.
Yeah, so it says 2 points, and then it goes, you got 2 points, 5 points, 10 points, 20 points, 25, 50, 100, 200, 300, 500. And all those were used to get points for a prize. So you got many different variations of this. Of course, the lower point values are going to be more common than the higher point values, number one. And then these were made for redemption, which is why you don't find the blue ones typically stuck into albums. That's great for the backs. Like that has a nice back, as does mine. There's another exact same one that has a yellow background. It doesn't have any points on it. It wasn't made, you couldn't redeem it for anything, but those you stuck in the album. So like the yellow background ones are the base cards.
Okay.
And then the blue ones were the chase cards with the number of points as it goes up, getting harder and harder, because it would have been more tempting for the kids to submit those
to get the prize.
Right? So that's that card. Obviously, a lot of people, being a 57 Pele, say, hey, this is going to be the most expensive card in the hobby. On a grade relative perspective, it is, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but on a net basis, still the high grade Alifas are going to sell for more than those. And I thought that was a good price. If I didn't have one and I had a lot of, money to invest in soccer, I don't necessarily think that's a bad investment. I think it probably has some legs on it. It's a nice copy.
Yep.
It's rare. It's all-time great, not going anywhere. I'd still rather be the buyer at that, even though it's a big number.
Yeah, I agree, because that's a grail, right? Like, I mean, like we can use that term for Alifas, but this is like truly like one, in my opinion, because there's so few of them out there, and it is a 57, and it's just I mean, if you have one, you know what you have. It's like I have a PSA 1 Alifa that I'm just throwing around, right? Like it's not something I'm just like, hey, okay, whatever. It's not something like I feel like I have to hold on to because I'll never be able to get it again. And so It's like the white whale, and so yeah, it's a pretty monstrous card, and it's really cool to see it go to auction, so we could kind of get a feel for where the market is, and congratulations to the buyer who has confirmed as the buyer. So congratulations to him. And question in the chat, it was not a fractional that bought it.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, I like to see that a collector, I mean, albeit a grail hunter, got this card, but it's in a freaking epic collection. And, I like that being in an epic collection. I think it would have been interesting to see how it fractionalized and what the market ultimately did over time. But I feel good about where this one landed.
Agreed. And if it goes anywhere, probably next it will also go to, a collector, I would imagine. So fractionalization is just clunky. It's really tough, and until something gets more streamlined, I'm rooting for collectors to acquire every single major piece. So
yeah.
Okay.
To me, it's interesting that, I have been thinking a lot about the fractionals because obviously it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to on the fractional side on the Pele. But I have been thinking it's like, I think fractionals definitely have their place, but I feel like it's more for some of the other cards, like you see here, like ones that can come and go easily. Because if you're based on, I mean, if you're holding it because you like the investment value of that item, well, then it needs to have a certain amount of liquidity. And so it feels to me like a PSA Jordan 10. That feels like a good fractional thing. A Charizard PSA 10, first edition, some of these really nice high-end cards, but with liquidity where the market's constantly testing it. And if it's trading below the market, they can get an offer that you can easily measure it against the last prices. So I think that's probably where I feel better about fractionals, but also the transaction costs were substantial.
Yes.
So, you've got to be making 30% on the entry to the exit before you really get any money. So that's a bit of a turnoff.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of things that I'm anti it. I'm actually, after the Pele got bought out, also congratulations to that buyer. Same buyer. And it's just like I'm just cashing out anything that I've bought now. I just pull in the money. I'm not even gonna screw with it anymore. So
yeah.
Personal opinion. Anyway, Mitch asked, is the buyer a secret? I don't know if he's necessarily a secret, but there's been things on the Discord discussed about who the buyer was, but until they come out and show the cards and do all that, I don't want to be the person that's kind of blowing it up, with our 300 watchers.
Yeah, and the buyer has confirmed to me,
yes,
but
same.
I don't feel it's my place to out them.
Agreed.
So I feel like they'll come out when they're ready.
Exactly. So I'm sure you'll see it on social media at some point. Yeah. So I have it sorted by the highest prices. It's not by year or anything like that. So we can kind of just scroll through and let me know if anything catches your eye. I guess.
Well, I mean, the Messi sticker here with all the shit going on with the Messi stickers again and the CRF.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just devastating for me. Not just because I have a 9 of that sticker. That it's just how sad it is for the hobby to have these fakes, like the Pele Card Master the other day that got graded as well, and I'm like, oh man, this is just so painful. It's like it makes you want to go hang out in your PSA 1 1940 Argentine stuff.
Yeah.
No one's
Always.
gonna fake, or you're not gonna get scammed, and I don't know. I mean, I think somebody mentioned that they could trace this to the same buyers that potentially are selling fake Messies, and if so, just how sad is that?
Yeah, we've, on the Discord, for the people who watch that aren't a member of the Discord, we have a warnings channel. And it seems like that channel has, I need to look up the stats, but that's got to be one of the 5 most active channels on the Discord. And just warnings can be anything from fakes, from bad sellers, from, it just, unfortunately, there's a lot of, there's a lot of money now in soccer. So there's a lot of people, I mean, this has been in baseball forever. This is, you're going to see it more and more in basketball coming up, especially. And it's just where there's money, there's going to be people looking to make it, and in untoward ways. So, yeah, it just sucks. And so there's going to be certain cards / stickers that at the moment are just going to have a little bit of a fog, or a dark cloud over them. And, until the market either accepts it, like, I feel like there's going to be something holding, like a, high front or something, like just pushing the pressure, a high pressure system, just pushing the ceiling down, because nobody's going to want to really take that risk. I mean, we saw that with Jordan rookies back in the day when people started forging those, and there ended up being a bunch of them where eBay wouldn't even let you sell a raw Jordan rookie because there were so many out that were fake. And so, it's just unfortunately part of the game now. And I mean, eBay's doing their new thing where they're having people, a company, authenticate cards now over a certain dollar amount. Maybe that helps, maybe it doesn't. I mean, there's going to be some growing pains. It sounds like there already has been some growing pains. So we'll see how that goes, but maybe that will be something long term that will help at least the eBay buyers. But yeah, things got to get shake out. And I mean, it's always, grading companies are just, they're always playing catch up, right? Because like somebody comes out with something, and then a few pass through the grading companies, and then they learn about it, and then they have to react. And, it's just this whole cat and mouse thing, and it's probably always going to be that way. And there's just no way around it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So enough about that shit. Let's move on. Pele Alifa 5.5 just sold for 108. I believe in the Premier auction.
Well, it was, I think, a 4.5 sold for 93.
Yeah, a 4.5 sold for 93. Yep.
So I think this feels like a bargain to me.
Yeah, this definitely, I think, should be more than 15,000 more for the grade up. I didn't really inspect the cards because I wasn't really in the market, but just based on grade, I would think that a grade up, I would expect there to be a bigger difference in the price.
Yeah, and where did the 4 go?
The 4, right below here, right?
Yeah.
The 4 went for 88. So,
and then the 4.5 on PWCC went for 93.
Yes.
And the 5.5 goes for 108.
Yeah. So they're all kind of clumped together, not like a huge difference. 15,000, right? Between the or 20,000.
Yeah. I mean, basically right around there.
Yeah, 20,000 between 20,000 and 5.5. Yeah. So I mean, but honestly, when you get into that range, I mean, I'm not sure that there might be a law of diminishing returns a little bit, because they're all kind of clumped into that mid-grade section, maybe. And without me inspecting, maybe the grades were, that were closer than what the numerical grades were. Unsure, but I think the price is decent. I don't think like I'm disappointed in those prices. Do you?
No, I mean, I think I guessed that the 5.5 was going to go closer to 120. But I mean, when you think about it in an auction, when the bidding increments are $10,000, I mean that's within one bidding increment with the BP. So I don't think they're not dramatically different from what I would have dramatically different from what I would have thought. So
Yeah.
I think it's certainly in the ballpark.
Mhm.
You could argue slightly low, slightly high, depending on how you like the card and the coloring and the cut and whatever. But I think it's kind of what I expected. What I actually was a bit surprised by the Ronaldo, the CR7 there going for 80,000. Given all the bad news around the sticker, I know it's a PSA label. I know it's a new slab, but it seemed like a high price to me. I know others have said that's going to be a huge bargain in time. And if it wasn't for all the drama we've had with this sticker, I would agree with that. But it just seemed, I didn't expect that to go that high, which I thought was a good sign for the market because the PWCC one, which is a 9.5, went for like 12,000. So you had a BGS 9.5 go for 12,000 and a PSA 10 go for 80,000.
Yeah, I mean that just tells you that, but there was so much of that was BGS. So like, I mean, BGS was just gonna get monstrously hammered by any of these cards or stickers that were graded by them because.
But that one had a really low serial number, like it was graded a long time ago. And
Yeah,
I looked at the sticker and I'm like, this is good one, right?
yeah. But the difference is that you're looking at that information, and I'm not sure everybody is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
just thought to myself, I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
it's the
Crazy
variance.
difference.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean, you feel like the 9.5 is. I just don't trust them with stickers, and I mean, who's
No,
to
I
say
know. I mean,
that
like I was like, I think I bid on it at like 8,000 or something. I'm like, okay, it's worth a flyer because I'm 100% convinced the sticker is legit.
Yeah,
And even if I send it to PSA, which by the way, this one had a subgrade 10, I think, and it gets a 9, I still feel good about it.
yeah, yeah.
Right. But it was just too much risk. And that's probably
Well, and
why
that's the point, right?
it
You
went
don't
for
even feel
12
that
grand.
comfortable that 9.5 grades an 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's kind of where
Then
the
you,
mentality is at the moment.
yeah, no, it just was, I don't know. Hey, I say great. I would rather be the seller on that PSA 10 right now, than the buyer. But I- you know, if the world was different with stickers, then I'd have a different feeling.
Yeah, like a year ago, like that card or sticker was much higher. Like, any 10 Ronaldo was going for like we expected 100 plus. Okay. Oh yeah, the PSA 10 Thierry Henry, 66,000. I think that's a good price. I'm happy if I'm the seller. I think.
I mean, it's first time to market, super
Yep.
low pop, iconic player, pre-modern, great. But that's a what Lexus RDX. So I mean Lexus, whatever their brand is of or some fancy Mercedes. It's a lot of money, 66 grand.
Yeah. I mean, it's pre-modern, so but I don't see a ton of like super high grades of these. So like I get it if you're I mean, he has a huge following, like fans, so I can see it. All right, then we get to the A12 George Bass rookie, the PSA 8.
The crazy thing here is this thing didn't move from after the first few days
No, you and I
activity.
were talking about it on one of our premium shows, and we were saying like I predicted it would finish at like 50K, and like first day within like the first 8 hours, it
Yeah.
was at 43,000. So buyer's premium 51 and change, and that's where it ended. Like crazy, like it just nothing ever moved it, and I mean, 50K for a best. I mean, we've never seen anything of the, you know, anything close to that. So, I mean, it's a great result. It was just such an odd situation. And I mean, I get it. The centering is not beautiful for a PSA 8. You know, it looks really OC actually when I'm looking at it right now. So that could have been just the eye appeal for an 8. Like, I'm not sure I'm going to want to pay uber premium on something like that. But it is an 8 best. And what's really funny, like with the bests, are that we saw, like, probably of the, let's say, first 20 that were graded, like there was a large percentage of them that had high grades. I think we're seeing a lot less of those now, and we're starting to see those bottom grades fill in a little bit more. But I'm pretty sure like PSA 4 was like the median now, or maybe it's even a PSA 5. So, but overall, I mean, it's a good showing for now, like that tier 2 level player, a higher graded card going for 50K.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, like you say, originally almost all of them that came out were high grade, and then through time they have been, and pretty much all the raw ones we've seen are 4s and belows over the last 18 months.
All right, so we got a PSA 6 Maradona disc, 43K.
This one I think was wildly overgraded. If you click on it, there were some dots on the top.
Yeah.
And there was this white thing that I think they missed. You see those dots over there?
Yeah.
And you got them down the side too. There was a white streak, or maybe that was on the 4.
Oh yeah, over here there's like staining and
Yeah, I don't know how that got a 6. So I thought wildly overgraded. So I thought that the price for a 6 was a little low, but the price for the card was a little high, if that made any sense.
No, I buy that completely.
So
It
I'd
looks
rather be
pretty
the
rough
seller
for a
here.
6.
Yeah, it's a pretty weak 6. So I'd rather be the seller of that card.
Agreed.
The Messi, a 50 grand for a 9.
Yeah,
I mean,
50 grand for a 9 or 80 grand for a 9.5. Probably sounds right.
yeah, and I'm I to me now in this world that we're in, I'm taking the PSA 9.
Yes. Yeah.
Just, and then I thought those boxes were a decent price on the Messi boxes. I just wasn't willing to bid one more, but I was bidding on those.
Yeah. All right, then we got a PSA 9 Zidane, 41K. Is that the high? That's the highest grade, right?
As of now, yeah.
Yeah. So it says Pop 5. So
Yeah, I thought this was a little light, given I know that there's always a possibility that a 10 comes out, but I just felt like it was a bit light.
yeah, I kind of feel the same way, especially just based on like players I compare him with, and what they would pull for. I mean, for a high grade, I mean, I would say him and Henry, like, you know what I mean? Like, I would probably prefer the Zidane personally. So, he makes some of those top 10 lists. I'm not sure Henry does.
Yeah, I think the Henri was what, 66?
Yeah.
So you could put 25 grand in your pocket and have the highest graded Zidane, with the risk that there could be a 10.
Yeah. But I don't necessarily think even if a A10 comes out, that's really going to like hammer the value of the 9.
So I thought this was a good one. Frankly, I'd rather have the card to the right of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, now they had a weak result across the whole all three of them that were up. It
I
was
thought
a rough
this was really
Pallerex.
weak, and maybe just because so many have come to market.
Yeah, I mean there has been a ton. Like it's crazy. Like every time we look somewhere, remember like forever you would rarely see them, and now it's like I don't know if everybody just decided to sell at the same time, and it just kind of the second half of those sales are gonna kind of be hampered because of that.
Yeah, so if I was a seller, I would be disappointed. I mean, I have a 7, but here I'd rather be the buyer. Over the long run,
Yeah.
could they go down more? Yeah, sure. The pops aren't that high. It's still less than 50, but I feel like we've seen 20 of the 50,
Yes.
over the
Yeah.
last, 4 months.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild the amount that have come out of the woodwork. I almost think like, if we weather this next, I don't know, year and a half, let's say, I mean, we're going to start to see shit settle, and, then we're going to really get a good feel for the scarcity of these items. And I think people, it's just like we see it where these things, one comes out of the woodwork, then a bunch of them do. Like we saw with the best rookies, like a bunch of those all of a sudden came out at the same time. Now we might go a month or two and not see any for sale. Like, and then people start to go, oh, maybe it's not as available as I thought, because we saw a month of 8 of them or whatever.
Yeah, but they go in cycles.
Yeah.
And just right now we're in an oversupply cycle because of some of the prices that came out. And there's definitely something to be said. While it's risky to being the first to market, like the card to Cruyff's right. This is the first time we see that sticker in a year and a half. Is that right? Or is it just a year?
I mean, I don't recall the last time I saw it, but I'll be honest, I don't really look for the Zlatans. But
yeah, but 30 grand for that sticker,
yeah, that's monstrous.
Massive price, right? That's a massive price. So
yeah,
like I gotta feel like that. If another one comes up, it could go for half of that.
Yeah,
it's a rare sticker. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think you're limited in the people who are going to be bidding on that, and now your high bidder is probably out of the market, with the exception of maybe bidding up. But all right,
I did get those boxes though, so that's a prime example. So I got those boxes. So I'd rather have those than some of the other stuff. I thought there was just a good value there.
Yeah, I mean you got two Ronaldo rookies in there, so that's
At
pretty
least,
good.
yeah. 2.6 on average.
Ooh, well, hopefully. I mean, I know PSA grades 0.5 cards. You saw that Honus Wagner, so you'll be good. Okay, the next one's a 6.5 Cruyff. I think we had a lot of conversations about that, and we feel like that 6.5 actually has better eye appeal. And it basically sold for the same amount. So, I mean, I think it's a good sign that people are starting to bid based on actual looking at the card as opposed to just the number. I think, once you get into like certain dollar amount, you're getting buyers who are a little more savvy than you're not selling like a PSA 3 something, and people don't give a shit if it's a 3 or a 4. Or if you put it on eBay, you get the more uneducated buyers. When you're somebody bidding at Golden, typically you're inspecting the card, I would imagine.
Yep.
All right, let's get through some of these. This was monstrous. IMO. The 78 crack Campeonato. Maradona. PSA 5 for 22K.
If you would have asked me prior to this, I would have said it wouldn't go for more than 7.
Yeah, I had 5 in my head. Like it just
Like,
Yeah,
I'd much rather be the seller. Actually, I have one. If anybody would like to buy a PSA 5, I think it's PSA 5.
it is 5. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I don't know what yours is.
Yeah, I think, I don't know either. Maybe I'll check. But I'd much rather be the seller. So in that neighborhood, look at, I'll even cut off $2,000. You can buy it for 20.
Yeah. Make an offer of 10K. I bet he takes it.
Yeah, I just look at, honestly, I don't know what's going on here. Do you?
It's fucking weird. Like when we were talking about this when it was going on, everybody's like, "It's happening,"
Yeah.
And it's like, it was just crazy. It was the one thing that just made absolutely no sense that kept getting bid on. And I mean, it looks like a great, it looks really good. It looks clean. It looks all of that. And it's not one bidder, right? It's two people going that high. So I mean, maybe there's something I don't know. I see a decent amount of them out there, so it's not like a scarcity thing, I don't think. I personally don't get it, but hey, if you're that high bidder, congratulations. I'm glad you got it.
And it's one, I think it is the highest, or maybe there is a 6.
No, it says 3 graded higher.
Yeah. Okay. So there are some 6s. So
yeah.
I mean, but it's high-ish grade. I'd still rather have the regular portrait photograph by far.
Yes, I agree.
So, but again,
teach their own. Yep. So, let's see. Here we go. The PSA 10, 35, Barca Campeon, 18,000, peak 65. So that shows you where Messi is in the market at the moment.
Yeah.
But we see that across the board.
Oh, this was interesting. So take a look at that. At that Messi right there.
This one here, yeah.
So the BGS 9 goes for 17, and then an SGC went for like 20. I want to say. I think it was up. Go up.
Yeah, SGC 9, 25, 24.6.
Oh, 25. Yeah, so even went higher than I thought. So here now, SGC is having a 20+% premium to BGS on a modern card. That to me just like blew my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you where Beckett is in a lot of collectors' minds right now. Sadly. Jimmy in the peanut gallery said he has a PSA 5 Maradona and paid $900 for it. So, congrats, brother.
Yeah.
All right, the Thierry Henry 9 for 16. I think that's there's a decent amount of 9s, I believe, from what I recall. Maybe I'm wrong, but
yeah, not a ton. So,
okay.
But when you look at the PSA 10 premium, it's substantial, right?
Yeah.
Because to go from a 9, it was like what? So it's like 3 times, 3+.
Well, yeah, it went from 16 to 66.
Yeah, 4 times the price.
Yeah.
On the 10. So, I'd probably take the 9 and pocket the rest.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. The Montcudine Di Stefano goes for 15.6. Beforehand I thought this would go for more personally. I had higher expectations. I know that there's grumblings in the background about that issue. If is it you have one faction saying it definitely is from the 40s, another faction questioning that. But regardless, it's a pretty important piece in vintage soccer, in my opinion. And
it's been around for a long time. I think.
Yeah.
I think it'll never completely get out of the shadow of how legit is that, and I think some of the people in all the camps have different potential reasons to have the opinions they have. I think that the highest grades on these is 4, so it's pretty high grade.
Yeah, to me, grade is so unimportant in these.
It's mostly like making sure that a lot of them have scuffed faces. And,
yeah, or like is it really miscut?
yeah, like this
sometimes you'll
one's
see.
a little miscut, right? But
Yeah.
you can get them even worse than this.
Oh,
So
substantially worse.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, I think
Looks
we
like a
hadn't seen
crescent
one of
moon.
those in a while, and I can't say whether that's a good or bad price just because we haven't seen a lot of them in a while. And I feel like, if you were to ask me, would I rather have that or the Maradona, PSA 5? I'd rather have this than the right. So it's a mixed
Yeah.
bag, right? So not that those are comparable collectibles. It's just, to me, it's like, it wasn't as high a price as I could have imagined, but it also wasn't $2,000, right? So
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it probably ended where it should have, ish. But my expectations were higher. However wrong now, who
and
knows
like
how
this
wrong that is.
4, I think is slightly overgraded on this Maradona disc, but for a 4 at 14,000, it doesn't feel terrible to me. But
No, like I would much rather that than the one above. That the 6. Like,
yeah, well, look at this one though. This one did have some. It had the white streak, I think. It had some staining, if I'm not wrong. You see that white cut on the
yeah, by
Maradona,
the name.
and
Yeah.
then looking on his right arm, you've got
Yeah.
that stain too.
But the cut around like looks better.
Yeah, the cut around it looks better. The clarity of the image looks good.
Yeah,
You
I
can,
would definitely take this one over the other one, especially at the discount.
yeah, I mean, save $20,000.
Yeah, 30,
Oh, didn't it go?
40
How much?
something.
Oh, did it really? Oh, I thought
I
it went
think
36.
so. Maybe I'm on crack. Yeah, 43.
Yeah, wow, yeah, you're right. So $30,000 savings, better clarity. That was a really good one.
Yeah, this is one I want to be the buyer. The other one I probably want to be a seller.
Yep, I agree. So I'm same thing.
This was an interesting one. The 59 Heinerly PSA 7. That's a good grade for those. They took a beating over the years, so to get that kind of grade, I think 12K. I think you got it. That's what you got to pay to get it. I'm not sure. Like that's not something I'm going to buy, but I think it's still an important Pele. It's definitely a top 10 Pele, for many people. So to get it in that grade, you're getting a premium piece, and I'd argue that some of the other higher graded ones may not necessarily be properly graded. So
Yeah, and I was thinking about this, especially in the context of the PWCC PSA 7 Aquarella that sold close to 100,000. I probably, for a 7, I probably take this one. I these cards are really hard to get in sharp grade, and they're cards. I notice a lot of variability in the grading of the Aquarellas.
yeah,
And I just feel like, it's a high price for a non-rookie Pele, no doubt. But that set is iconic, and I feel like that's, while I at this particular point I think I have like a 6. I would not necessarily be a buyer or a seller. I think that makes me feel like it's pretty close to market price for a 7.
yeah, I think so. All right, so here's a SGC 5 Aquarela for 10K. That seems about right to me. It doesn't. I'm kind of in that same thing of what you're saying with that last Pele. I feel like that's probably right where it needs to be.
Yeah, I don't
which
disagree.
makes me wonder if that's 7 for 100. That's pretty monstrous. So, all right. this 76 Zico 6
That
for
shocked the hell out
10K.
of me.
That's a monster price in my opinion.
Yeah, I had a 1 that I sold like last month or something for like $200. And I know a 6 is very different from a 1, but it just
But
I
there's a
thought
71 Zico. You know what I mean? Like it's 5 years from his rookie.
yeah, so I think that it had to be someone who didn't know there's other Zicos out there, and unless you just are going for the absolute highest grade Zicos, it's super high grade. To get that sticker in a 3 is a big deal. To get it in a 6 is crazy, right? So, but 9,300 seems super high to me.
Yeah, like I would rather have this Platini 7, for less money. Personally. So, I mean, it just like, looking at these prices and where they finish, it's really interesting to say, okay, well, I'd move this one way up and I'd move this one way down, I know the Platini, again, another one of those ones that's off center, kind of like that Cruyff 7 was. But, to get a clean Platini with a high grade like that, that's something that I feel like, that's one of the few post 1960s cards that I would want in my collection, and that's something that I'd be willing to pay up for, I guess.
Yeah, I like the Platinis. I think we had talked about that before, that there was some opportunity there.
Yeah.
So there was some talk about the Charltons here that could get 10 grand for an 8.
Yeah, I felt that might have been a little steep. I think I think I said 6K on this when we did our show. But it's a pretty clean card overall. Just the corners are a little soft, and it looks like there's some staining down here, so maybe that kept it down.
Yeah, so I didn't think this was an 8. In the back you can see some toning across.
Yeah, that's really common in those, like along the edges.
Exactly. So I don't know how that in my mind gets an 8, and I thought this was more, like a 5K type of card in the end of it. But it's a nice grade, certainly for a card that's gotten a lot of notoriety here the last few months.
Yeah. So, good result. Let me know if there's anything that catches your eye.
Well, that Pele up there, the
San Giorgio.
Yeah, that's pretty big price. Now, you rarely see them in that type of a grade.
Yeah, 7's pretty monstrous.
And then we've had a lot of issues on the grading, the quality of the grading on the Vanderhoot Cruyffs.
Yeah.
With some of the backs being, I don't remember this one because this was now like,
these are actually, now we're getting back to some of these are from January. So
because you did the price. Yeah, you did the price.
So we ended, we're past that. So we're done. So that's the Elite One.
I think generally though, when you have to weigh it, was it, disappointing, slightly disappointing, on par, better than what you expected, or like crazy good? I'd say that it's like on par to better than expected on average is kind of where I would be on the meter. Of course, there are exceptions.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think it's the ones that really got hammered are the ones that we've seen a high quantity of, so we can easily explain why they didn't pull what you would typically expect. I don't think there was anything that I looked at and I was like, man, that just like, there's no reason for this to have sold at that price, or that low of a price. So I think I would agree with you. I think on a 0 being piss poor and a 10 being February 2021, it's probably a 6. So yeah, I think that's probably, right along what you said. So yeah, okay. Let's kind of maybe go a little quicker on these. We've been an hour or 50 minutes.
Yeah. Let's hit it.
we're gonna blow through the next day's auctions pretty quickly. We're just gonna we'll comment on these gold cards, prism cards that just fucking did incredibly.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's just all of a sudden these gold prisms have just gone insane. And congratulations, I know seller is in our Discord, so pretty awesome for them. Some of these tickets, looks like Messi,
Also crazy.
50K for a Messi debut friendly
50K.
ticket. So
Crazy.
yeah, I mean, there's it's cool, but it's cool to see the hobby broadening, like these things. You know what I mean? It's not just cards or stickers anymore necessarily. It's tickets. It's it's super cool to see that happen, and it's a good, healthy sign, I think, just for our our soccer niche. So all right, so let's just kind of go PSA 2 Alifa for 32. That seems to be right along normal, in my opinion. Nothing's
I think
pushed it.
the PWCC one went for 32 as well. That was a
Yep,
PSA
32.4. Yep. So good call on that. So I mean, I think the market is what the market is, until maybe we'll see. I mean, we didn't see a bump up really for the 2. Did that 2 end after the Pele 9 sold?
I
I don't recall, but
don't recall.
I no, I had to have, right? Because the Pele sold like a week or two ago, and the
But this is a week
premiere
or two
ended on
ago too.
Saturday. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it didn't really pull up the lower grade ones, which I mean that doesn't really surprise me. The next one,
Well,
I
you got to
think.
talk about the Bremer. Yeah.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Right there, the Pele Crime Pele Bremer.
I'm not sure. I don't see it. Where's do we know the buyer of that?
I don't know the buyer, but you right next to the Pele, the 30K.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty epic item. It's
For that grade.
oh, this is the 2.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah. I'm
2.
thinking this is the 7.
No, the 7 is I bought.
Yeah, that's why I was joking if we knew the buyer. It didn't click with me.
Yeah, no, I bought the 7
Yeah.
and it was like 40K
And
last
then
month or
and
something.
then this 2, this is the one where everybody's like, "What in the hell is going on?" It just kept getting bid up and bid up and bid up.
Yeah, this is
It was
insane, right?
incredible.
Because it's like, it's not super common, but it's not, and this is a beautiful too, right? It's hard to see the paper loss on the back unless you carefully look at it,
Right.
but it's still a 2. So for it to go for 30K when the 7 went for 40K the previous month is
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, I guess your 7 is now worth like 180K. So
At least
at least based on this result. Yeah, that's where
again,
I was confused. Yeah, this is that's a monster get for that card. And it's one of the most beautiful cards in my opinion, because it's that it's truly photo card stock. And a lot of people don't like action shots. I mean, essentially that's what this is. But it's a really cool, like, emotional Pele after winning the World Cup, and it's so damn cool.
I thought it was going to go for like 7,000 maybe.
Yes, I was thinking 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kept going, man. There was 2 people that really wanted that mother. All right, this was cool. Like, it was something that I was just watching, was from the 1929 Uruguayan Soccer Federation, talking about setting up, or preparing for the first World Cup. So that went for 25K. It's a very specific item that you're not going to have a ton of people that will be rebuyers, but I mean that's a pretty amazing
But I love that there
historical
were a
piece.
couple people who were super interested in it and bid it,
Yep.
hard.
Yeah, great sign. PSA 5,
Beautifully
78.
centered. I love this sticker. It's one of the best ones that I've seen. It's one of the highest graded. Yeah, so it's a big price, but a 6 sold for more than 100,000, so it's not
Yep.
that big of a price, and it's such a beautiful sticker and such a high grade. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I actually feel like that was I would rather be the buyer for sure on this
Yeah,
one.
I
So
think that's right.
PSA 9, another Henry went for 17.
So
It
it's
says
kind of
there's a pop
consolidating
6.
there.
What's that?
It's kind of consolidating in that space.
Yep, exactly. PSA 8, Alifa team card with Pele, pop 3, went for 16K. That's got to be the most expensive Pele team or Brazil team card or any team card, maybe for soccer.
Yeah, that shocks me, but it is a PSA 8. If you had the regular Pele in high grade, maybe you want to match it, right?
Yeah, yep.
So, and maybe a number of people are trying to do that. It's just a massive price for a team card on its own, which is small, so it's hard to see him
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah, you need the jeweler's glass to look in and
But
see
the
it.
PSA 3 Maradona next to it, the
If you thought
cartoon-
yesterday's auction was an outlier, nope. The 3 then goes for 16,000. So
how can't I sell any of this stuff?
so
Even
that
near
means
you?
that there is 2 bidders that wanted to go. You know what I mean? So we have 3 now. We have 3 bidders that were willing to go what I consider exceptionally high on these stickers. Um, but you and I have. There's been times where you and I just don't have the feel for a particular item, and we end up being wrong, and because the market's somewhere else than where we are,
Yeah,
and
so I'm definitely not even. I mean, I was gonna say not even in the same zip code. I'm not even in the same country on this one.
no, like I'm like that's like a $2,500 maybe for me, you know. So and I
And
probably
even
would I
there,
would
and
probably
even
hesitate
there,
to pay that.
yeah, and even there, I may be the seller, right? So,
Yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah,
so
exactly.
and that's the thing. And you're talking like, so you've got 7 times that price, and
Yeah.
people are paying it. So
So we're the
wow,
ones obviously out of touch here. So
obviously,
wouldn't be the first time. Another PSA 5, not quite as good of an
yeah,
eye appeal, went for 14.
yeah.
Um, eh, PSA 4 is George Best, went for 96. That's pretty much market. I think that was established earlier on eBay. Now here's a 1.5 for 10K.
And
That's a
and then
really solid get for that.
and the really nice 4 only went for
Yeah,
14.
14. Yeah. So they were all over the place, and it's just so weird. Let's see.
Oh,
Even
here,
that, like this 5 is just like it went for 7,000, but it's like it should be like a PSA 3 MC. It's so off center.
yeah, I didn't get that at all. The grade.
PSA 3 Palarex for 6,600. That's just to me seems ludicrously low compared to like some of the other stuff we're seeing sell. Like, I mean, it's like I could move that thing so much higher on this list and so many other ones down below it. And, it just feels like that was a deal. And anything unstuck to me, that's where that huge bump needs to be from that 2 to the 3. So,
Yeah. This is as we said earlier, the Cruyff in general disappointed.
yep. PSA 1 Queagle, 6,000. Probably about right. Would you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little not the best condition one, so
Yeah. PSA 4. Is this the one that looked like you needed 3D
No, I think
glasses?
that was a 3. There was a
Oh,
3
okay.
that looked like, it was like 3 printings on one.
God, there's 4 of these in here. Like it's just crazy to me. Like,
And they did so well.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're. Oh, here it is. Yeah, 3,000, 2,800 for this. Where like I
Bizarre
could
one.
not own that card. Like I couldn't. Like I mean, I get it. And I probably have resale. Like if I had that, I would never scan it and it would go into my safe deposit box, never to be seen again. Like it would just, the only place there would be like documentation of that thing would be in a spreadsheet. Like, like I could not handle that personally. Like every time I look at that, I just get uneasy.
Yeah.
Now here's the one where like you and I have crossed paths. The Vav. I don't know what's happening. I feel like this is just a ludicrously low price for that.
This is heartbreaking to me.
So,
I mean, it's such a rare card, and it's usually these have terrible cuts. They've been
this is
glued to the
like
back.
To have white border around every single side is pretty unseen.
Like so hard to get those. I've probably seen 5 that have those borders.
And the one negative is
that little ink.
Somebody wrote 8 over the 8.
Yeah, and it's the 8's still there, and it's still 8, so it's not like they crossed anything out. But it was just, I mean, you have this in hand now, right?
I do, yeah.
It's a great card.
Yeah,
the back is good. The back usually has like tape residue and everything. This was a devastating one to me, and it reminds me why, you know, I thought one of these hadn't sold. It was going to go for big, and so I figured I'd try it, and didn't work out for me. But I'm glad that it worked out for you.
I think we've seen, yeah. I mean, like, thank you. I'm happy for, like, I got it, but I feel terrible for you because, like, you and I both know, like, that's one of the rarer Pele's, and I think there's only 27 graded, and I think that the market is just not educated about it because you don't see too many of them out there, you know, and so, and I get it. This is post 19, you know, it's post World Cup, so I get it. Like it's one of the later 58s, I would say, but man, I was super happy to, like, honestly, like I am, just for me personally, like I'm really happy to have that. Like I rather that than the PSA 1 Alifa I submitted, like as a collector, like, and so like, and I'm gonna net how much, you know what I mean, on top of it. So like, it's just, to me, it's a huge win, and I feel bad for you. I'll buy you a drink next time I see you.
Yeah. I mean, look at dude. It you know, it happens. We're all fine, right? But
yeah,
you know, I'm actually, I think that I may have just broken even on that card, and I brought it.
How disgusting is that?
Yeah, I bought it pre-boom.
Yeah.
Right. So like literally, I just knowing how rare it is in time, you know, maybe I broke even on it. And then you look at things to the right of that, like that Industria Argentina, terrible, you know, at least I don't like that card. And it's like, okay, that's
the character.
For the same, I'm saying it's for the same price, non-rookie, ugly Maradona cartoon. But whatever, you know, I think you're right. I think, and this is the tough thing. When you do a rare card at auction for the first time, sometimes it booms and it does extremely well. And other times it just falls flat because of market, you know, knowledge. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's, well, yeah, at least you know it's in a good home. And
yeah, no. For me, I'm fine. And
yeah, I know you are. I know. I'm just saying, like, but just so, like, it's not all wins. Like, you know, like there's going to be those times where you take that risk, and you know, it depends on your risk tolerance on whether you want to be the first to market or not. Yeah, these Trilcos seem to be kind of coming down. Yeah.
And the Cafu, how did you feel about that? That's a pretty good grade.
Yeah, to have a 6, I feel like that's kind of low, maybe. Like I think I would prefer to be the buyer in that regard. But again, that's not really my wheelhouse, like 90s and beyond. So it's tough for me to give you a real educated. This 6, I feel like that was low. I would much rather be the buyer, I think. For the Romario. A lot of those you're going to see in 2s and 3s as they start coming back from PSA. So to get a 6 of his, you know, that's pretty, I feel like that's a pretty good price.
Yeah.
All right. And then let's do one real quick gloss over the 11 items at the Premier auction.
And some of them we talked about already.
Yeah, so we can get through this like really quickly. As long as I can figure out how to get this. Okay. All right. Are we seeing it? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we already talked about the Ronaldo. Here's the Queagle and a 3.5 go for 20. I had a 2. I think I sold for 12. So I feel like, that's probably right in that range. Maybe should have gone a little higher. But I don't know if that 3.5 was, I didn't really inspect it to whether it was like a great 3.5 or not.
There was there's a
there's like
back.
a crease. I see a crease.
Yeah, there's a crease, and then the back made me wonder if there was some paper loss in the middle.
Okay.
But I mean, it was a nice looking image on it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, then maybe I feel bad that my other one got a 2 because mine didn't have paper loss and it was exceptionally clean and it got a 2. So,
oof, yeah.
So maybe I see you lose some. And
yeah. I mean, the big shocker to me, because it went for more than double what I expected, was the Beckenbauer 6.
Yeah, that was a good sign. Like, I mean, I feel like he's just kind of coasted below where he should have been. And it's nice to see like a 6, for that year. There's so many 1s and 2s to get a pretty reasonably high grade. That's pretty fantastic to see that price. 2 bidders over, $23,000. So that's pretty solid. We already talked about the Alifa 2. We have a PSA 6 and a PSA 7. Aquarela 6 goes for 38. The 7 goes for 96. Black and blue numbers. Maybe that has part of the of that. I hear rumors the black was the first issue, the blue was the second run. I don't know. I'm not here to say I know the difference. And then you got a 6 to 7 and you're paying an extra $60K. It just seems
I think 7's the highest graded. So, if you're just going for
if you're hunting the monsters,
if you're just hunting the biggest ones, I think Rally bought the 7 for 25, and then they sold it on a buyout for 55 or something, and now it goes for 90. I just wouldn't, and again, I'm nowhere close to 96,000 for a 7 perforated card, which the grade versus eye appeal, when I look at a bunch of these, I'm all over the place on how I feel about, the grading.
I don't know if there's that consistent of, you see some that you're like, man, that should not have gotten a 4, like that should have been like a 2. And then you see 2s that you're like, wow. And it's like, how are they? Is it good? They're grading the, little notches. Is it like,
I don't know, but it's one of the things it's one of the issues that I least trade the grades on. That I least believe the grades on. And so because of that reason, I'm not willing to super pay for a premium grade. And here, both the 6 and the 7 far exceeded what I thought they would do. But again, if you're looking at the pop report and you say, hey, there's 130 of them, and there's only 1 7 and 1 6, well then okay, I can get that mentality as well. That mentality is not for me on those.
Yeah, I hear you. So it's and I agree with you. So another month, overall pretty solid month, I'd say. I feel like
we're not experiencing massive retractions in the market. There's some softness on the Kreuz because we had a bunch of stuff come to market. Still softness in the messy market. So still a little, it depends on the issue and the grader. You could pick out some places where there's some softness in the Ronaldo CR7 market. Pre-modern is a little bit hit or miss, but that's because I think the supply issue is we're gonna keep dealing with that for the next probably 24 months, if I had to guess, on the pre-modern, because there's just so much stuff at PSA.
Yeah. I agree.
But where we spend most of our time, vintage still feels pretty solid. And when you start to go down to other issues that we don't talk about here that don't get auctioned on these in these markets, those prices are doing, really well.
Yeah, waiting for a day when the bloomer shows up. I'm not gonna be the first one to put a bloomer in an auction. I'll tell you that right now. In a major auction, I could not live with myself if I lost like some rare, like a Cato's bloomer or something, like, and I got like $4,000 for it or something. Like that would just ruin my collecting ever.
So there's a part of me, the masochist, that after getting screwed on my Pele, I've been thinking about putting a Tatty bloomer, just to see how it rolls. But yeah, I'm just not sure I have the guts to do it quite yet.
I think you should. If everybody thinks Al should,
yeah, he's like, I don't want to sell my Cato's bloomer, but you should sell your Tatty.
Yeah, I am not fucking selling my Cato's. I love that card. Like, oh man, that's like Cato's are my favorite cards. So like,
yeah, they are.
You're not getting that out of my hands, like, unless there's like a monster reserve or something, which then means it won't sell.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty good month. Just for anybody watching, we do premium section in Discord every week. We do an episode for our subscribers, and next week we will be doing one open to the public, so you guys can check out what we are offering. And you get, I mean, if you think this is casual, you're gonna
have low expectations.
Low expectations. But we are having a good time. Couple weeks ago, nobody gave us questions, so you had Al and I talking about Ben Gay, being old, bifocals.
Yeah, Preparation H, I think, made an appearance.
We did talk about Preparation H, not our use. I just gave a interesting tidbit that it was at one time the most stolen item from drugstores because people are embarrassed to buy it.
You get all this unbelievable knowledge.
I mean, not only about, you got Al with his vast knowledge of the collectibles, and you have me with mindless trivia. So, but anyway, good time again, brother. So hopefully some of you guys.
Hey, and guess what? I just dropped something. You can see in the Discord. I'm putting it on social media. I got an MLB.
Yeah, I read it.
MLB picked up the story. They saw the PSA stuff. I've been working with them on something else actually, and it looks like they're going to have me on a TV show on for the Negro League stuff again, unrelated to soccer, but
that's awesome, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely read that article. Is you get some really riveting quotes from Al in it. So but no, super cool. And I mean, that was a huge passion of yours. So it's really cool for you to see you getting, some accolades and some notoriety for all that, effort you put into building such an incredible collection. So
yeah, no,
congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I really, it's really kind of about these players, man. These guys were freaking awesome. I mean, this is pre, NBA, pre, NFL. Any badass African-American athlete played baseball, and they just kicked ass, right? Yeah. And they were not allowed to play with the white guys, and it's just bullshit. If you look at even in the dying years of the Negro Leagues, where Jackie Robinson comes up, but also, Willie Mays played in the Negro Leagues, Monty Irving, Hank Aaron. These are the greats of the game ultimately that we had, and they came basically out of the Negro Leagues. Ernie Banks, and those are the guys that came at the tail end. We had all these guys that nobody talks about, Oscar Charleston, Pop Lloyd, that were there just kicking ass for all these years, and were basically swept under the rug. So I'm glad to see that, big companies and institutions like, PSA, Negro League Baseball Museum, which would make sense, and
Yeah.
MLB now are trying to get the word out a little bit more. Obviously, than my little Instagram and our Discord do. So, I hope that people take some interest in it. I know, again, bear with me because it's not soccer, but it is a passion. So if you're interested, take a read. And we'll talk to you guys next week and on the Discord.
Yep. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.